Hi, I'm John Schreiber. For over 17 seasons, the New Jersey Performing Arts Center has been the state's premier home for both world-class and community-based performances. We pride ourselves on presenting something for everyone. That's why we're very proud to partner with the Caucus Educational Corporation to produce One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJPAC. This special series features some of the very best talent New Jersey has produced. We're pleased to welcome them and you to the Arts Center.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJPAC has been provided by Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, PSE&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities. The New Jersey Education Association, working for great public schools for every child. TD Bank, Josh S. Weston, Cone Resnick, providing accounting, tax, and advisory services for more than 90 years. And by the Fidelco Group.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
Hi, I'm Steve Adubato, coming to you from the beautiful New Jersey Performing Arts Center. This is One-on-One, and this is Tony DeSare. And he is a singer, songwriter, pianist, and his new CD is called Piano.
Yeah.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in upstate New York, north of Albany, a little town called Hudson Falls, right on the Hudson River, about 7,000 people.
When did you get into music?
I got into music. I begged my parents for violin lessons in 4th grade that's the first instrument you could take, and they said okay, so I started playing violin. I was always fascinated with the piano though, and when I was 10 years old, they got me a little Casio keyboard, and they got me a bigger keyboard, and then by the time I was 13, I was obsessed with George Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue, and I spent the whole year learning that, and then didn't have a date all through high school, had no social life, but I kind of really developed my love for music and got into classic American songbook songs, by Cole Porter and Gershwin and Irving Berlin, and got into Frank Sinatra. So then by the time I graduated high school, I was performing at hotels and at bars and things like that. And then I went to Ithaca College, and after graduating there, I thought I have to give New York a shot. Because
why?
Well, because it's the type of thing where I never pictured myself really in a music career until I actually found myself getting paid to do it, but I still never thought it was a reality. And I thought if I didn't move to New York and give it a shot, it would be something I would always regret. But if I went there and found there were 100 guys just like me and I couldn't get a job, then I would be fine going to medical school or something like that. And
you had to give it a shot.
I had to give it a shot, yeah.
What happened?
Well, I started this long, slow climb from, my first job was at the Marriott Marquis in Times Square, playing in a revolving lounge.
No, you weren't.
Yes.
It did. It was just moving.
Yeah. Well, the outer.
You weren't moving.
Yeah, I didn't move. I was playing with a band on the dance floor, and the outer section moved, and it was all these tourists from all over the world, and so we only saw one table for 15 minutes. I did this 5 nights a week for a couple of years, and what that means is every 20 minutes you're getting a new request for New York, New York. That's what it means.
Did you just say, hey, listen, I'm just paying my dues?
Well, I was just, at that point, I mean, I was from this little...
paying my bills.
Yeah, I mean, I was from a little small town in upstate New York. I was all of a sudden coming into Times Square every night to work. And from then, I got cast in an off-Broadway show about Frank Sinatra's music. And then I started hanging out at places like the Friars Club in New York and playing piano bars and started to meet people. Bucky Pizzarelli, who I know you've had on.
Yeah, we just had sitting right there. Bucky was sitting right there. John Pizzarelli right there.
Well, Bucky played on my first demo, which got me my record deal in 2005, which then allowed me to start touring and playing jazz clubs in different cities. And then since then, I've been all over the world, from Australia to Hong Kong to Tokyo. Now mostly what I do is I'm a guest artist with symphony orchestras. I play little performing arts centers with my trio. And
what about this place?
And yes, I'll be here.
NJPAC.
And NJPAC. I played this place as well. It's
What's it like to play here?
Well, I'll tell you after tomorrow.
But with the idea of playing here.
Oh, well, yes, it's.
Has a reputation.
It is. I mean, it's amazing. All these places over the last 10 years that I've, when I first moved to New York, I'd walk by a place like the Cafe Carlyle and just think, how.
The great Bobby Short was there for those years, right?
And I would just think, how would I ever get myself in a position where I could play at this place? Or, when I worked by Birdland or Blue Note.
We just had the owner of Birdland sitting right there.
Oh, Gianni?
What do we have? Gianni, right?
Gianni Valenti, yeah, good. He's very
Isn't
good.
Isn't it crazy? I hate to be. You're the one who's name dropping. I'm just telling you who was here. You're not doing it in a bad way.
Yeah.
I'm just realizing we've had good people here. So you go Birdland. You talk about Cafe Carlyle.
Yeah.
These are iconic places.
These are all iconic places that when I first moved here, I had no idea I would someday play. And NJPAC is one of those places as well. I mean, I lived in New Jersey for about 7 years. And the idea of playing in this beautiful facility back then, was kind of way beyond the scope of what I was doing,
right.
and it's great to find myself in a position where I'm
Tell me
playing a
about the
beautiful
CD.
place.
Tell me about this.
Well, the CD it's called Piano,
right?
And the reason it's called Piano is because it's kind of an experimental project in that I started working on songs. I got my first acoustic piano a few years ago. I got a beautiful Yamaha Grand, and I started experimenting with multi-tracking the acoustic piano. So not only playing it standard, but also playing it, like hitting the sides with my hands, plucking the strings, playing it like a guitar, and finding all these different sounds that I could get out of it, because I loved that it was raw and organic sounding and just a way to create some unique sound. So I challenged myself to do a whole album of this and make each song a different experience. And so I've put out 3 records prior to this on Concord Records, and this one I wanted to be basically the same material I would have done. I do Cole Porter, I do Irving Berlin, there's many songs that I've written. I do even a Bon Jovi song.
You put Bon Jovi in there?
Yeah.
How does that fit in? You got all these great American, standards, and then you say, I got Bon Jovi.
Well, because here, I really believe that there are these songs that, Bon Jovi, You Give Love a Bad Name has been around like 27 years now, something like that.
Right.
And you still hear it every day. And it's part of our culture, it's part of our shared consciousness. I've been incorporating these, what I call contemporary standards, into my show. And it's because they're songs that do survive the translation in genre, can exist outside their original arrangement. It's fun to add these new songs, to actually say that there's songs being added since 1965 to the American Songbook. I mean, maybe not in as great as numbers as they used to be, but they're still there.
I'm curious about this. Because so much of your music comes from the Great American Songbook, comes from the Gershwins and Cole Porter and the standards.
Yeah.
The audience comes from where? Who are they?
Well, I think one of the interesting things about an audience for this music is there's a counterpart that grew up with this music that are now,
For those of us who didn't but like it,
right?
How do we fit in?
Well, it's the type of thing, like I discovered it when I was 15 years old, and there are people.
Do you think yourself you're born at the wrong time?
No, I don't think so.
I don't mean, you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
by the question.
I understand for sure. I mean, and certainly at a different time, my skills and the genre that I'm in probably would have been more mainstream.
But you don't care about that.
No, I mean, I'm thrilled that I get to do the music that I love to do, and I just love great songs. Whether it was written in 1922 or 1982 or 2002, if you have a really good melody and a good lyric, then I'm on board.
That's good stuff. And by the way, you're going to be performing. Tell us where you're going to be performing.
Well, I'm kind of perpetually on tour.
No, I mean here.
Oh, here
Right.
I'll be with the American Songbook series. It's tomorrow as we tape this.
We're taping on November the 1st. You'll be here.
I'll be here on the 2nd, doing 2 shows.
What are you actually going to do right after this when you walk over here to that?
I
piano?
want to play a song that I wrote that's on my new CD. It's called the New Orleans Tango.
The New Orleans Tango.
Yeah.
A quick background to it.
Well, I always wanted to write a tango because I thought it was the most romantic dance two people could do. I mean, other than the Macarena, of course. But and then I
That's
thought
not in the standard Great American Song.
no. And then as I I thought, well, how can I twist a tango? I was like, well, let's put some New Orleans piano, bluesy piano behind it, and set the whole thing in New Orleans.
You can do it?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Tony.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Great to talk to you.
Good stuff.
It's called the New Orleans Tango, I said as she looked around. But we don't need any dance floor, all we need is the ground. She put her hand inside my hand, she followed me by my feet. It was just her and I now, and the rhythm of the street. And then I looked into her eyes as we listened to the beat. I could feel her body rise in the cool New Orleans heat. And as that Creole music cried from the river to the sea, we danced until the music died, breathless next to me. It's called the New Orleans Tango, I said as she looked around. I picked her up as she followed through the bayou back to town. Into her eyes as we listen to the beat, the black Louisiana skies shine their light on Bourbon Street. And as that Creole music cried from the river to the sea, we danced until the music died, breathless next to me.
If you would like more information on this program, or if you'd like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Visit us online at oneonone.org, or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD.
There he is, Steve Turay, a jazz trombonist, bandleader, composer, professor of jazz trombone at the great Juilliard School. Good to see you.
My pleasure.
It's an honor having you with us.
Yeah.
You've got a connection to this place, the New Jersey Performing Arts Center, right?
Yeah, I've played here several times.
Yeah, and Dorthan?
Dorthan Kirk.
Dorthan Kirk. Just describe that connection as well.
Well, I used,
WBGO.
Not only WBGO, I used to play with her husband, Rahsaan Roland Kirk, and that's how I met her. And BGO came later.
It's interesting. We're right here in Newark. Newark has a great jazz history,
Completely.
Right? Sarah Vaughan came from Sarah Vaughan Way, right?
Wayne Shorter.
Oh my
Woody
God.
Shaw, who I played with.
By the way, you've been with the Saturday Night Live band since, is it 84?
30 years now.
Wow. By the way, how'd that happen?
I auditioned. There was 2 jobs in my life that I auditioned for. Both great ones, Ray Charles and Saturday Night Live.
Now you get, hold on. Do the Ray Charles thing, because that is a huge part of your professional life.
72. That's the first big gig that I had, and we traveled around the world. And the first time I played with somebody of his stature, and it was a profound experience, life-changing.
Describe it.
Well, it was a big band. I was in the big band, and I played trombone in the section, occasional solo. In fact, there's a video out, Ray Charles in the Holy Land. It was live in Israel, and from a concert, and I have a solo on that video. But just listening to him sing every night, that was what I lived for. I memorized my parts on most of the tunes just so I could enjoy listening to him, because everything he did came from here. It was everything. He could sing country, he could sing blues, funk, jazz, gospel, music, and it was all feeling. It all came from his heart, and that's why everybody loved him.
Steve, did you get to interact with him much? Did you get to interact with Ray?
A little bit when I was in the band, but I was very young then, and he was already an icon. But as the years went, when I left him, I ended up going with Art Blakey. Art brought me to New York.
Jazz Messengers?
Yeah.
Tell folks how important that, who people don't know, because growing up I used to hear about them.
That was
big.
Graduate school.
For people who are not jazz aficionados, describe what that really means.
Well, playing in his band was like finishing school for real jazz, and he not only taught you about professionalism and playing the music on an extremely high level, but he taught you how to be a band leader. Sometimes he'd tell one of the young cats in the band, okay, introduce the tunes tonight. You go up, take the mic. You talk to the audience. And you say, oh, and you learn to do it. And he'd have you write songs for the band, and they play your music, so you got to develop in that way. And he would teach you things, I remember, I'll tell you a funny story. When I first played with him, and I was excited, but scared to death too. Cedar Walton was playing piano, Woody Shaw was playing trumpet in the band, and I had the records, and these were monsters to me. And here I was a kid in this company, so I wanted to do my best, and I was trying maybe a little too hard, and Art would tell me, oh, slow down, man, take your time. Don't play everything in the first chorus. Tell a story, take your time. And boy, he wear me out my lip with it. He says, see, you got to take your time and build it up so it means something. Don't just play a lot of notes, tell a story. So he helped you to find your voice,
It's interesting as you're talking about this, because being a band leader requires a whole range of skills and tools beyond being a musician, which is hard enough, right? Which those of us who are not can't even imagine. What does it take to be great as a band leader?
A big part of it, well, to me, first of all, there's a big difference between being a musician and being an artist. A musician, I have the highest respects for. Somebody could play in a band, in an orchestra, and play the part and never make a mistake, and just perfection in terms of the craft of their instrument. But an artist is somebody that has their own voice, that has a unique ability to communicate with the audience on their own, in their own standing. And so part of being a band leader is having your own music and having your own sound, your own personality that comes to fore. And then you also have to be able to know how to communicate with the audience, talk to them, and just
connect.
Yes, connect.
That's
exactly.
It's interesting. You talk about different art in the art form of being an artist. And one of the last things you did before you sat down was, you said, could you take those shells and put them over here? Those shells. What do they have to do with your music?
Well, I'm known for playing shells, as well as trombone.
Playing shells.
Yeah, because these are the roots of the brass instruments. See, I cut it off and I made a mouthpiece on it, just like on the trombone, because I'm a trombonist. If I was a trumpet player, I'd make it smaller, so it'd be like a trumpet mouthpiece. But I'm a trombonist, so I made it like that. And you make the sound the same way, as you would with a brass instrument.
Can we hear it?
Sure. But this is a natural instrument. It was alive once, and it's like a rock, you know, but it has a unique resonance.
That just came out of you through that.
Yeah.
And are they all different?
Yeah, now this one is a little lower pitched.
Lower pitch.
Yeah. See, the primary note is before you put your hand in it. When I put my hand in it, it lowers the pitch. And then you can do something like I learned from Rasan.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so you can get harmonies with them and
Did someone come to you and say, do this, or did you just
self-taught. excuse me.
self-taught?
Yeah.
And you love to teach.
Oh, yeah.
Because?
And especially in the last 10 years, I felt a calling to teach because I really believe in this music. Jazz, for lack of a better word,
Yes.
the music is already defined as that name. So to try to change the name of it, it's going to be a hard sell because people already understand what it is by that name. But it comes from African American culture and based on the blues and everything, but it's really America's classical music and it's unique to this country. And like Art Blakey used to tell us, no America, no jazz. And it's true. And the thing I love about it so much is it not only makes people feel good, but it brings all people together. When you go to a jazz concert, you see all kind of people, from white people, black people, Asian people, Latino people, all kind of people. Everybody come together and can appreciate and enjoy the music, you know.
About the music.
Yeah.
By the way, you mind if I plug a little bit?
Yeah.
These two CDs? Woody's Delight, right?
Yeah, that's
And the Bones of Art.
Yeah.
Two very different
Yeah.
CDs, right?
Yeah.
By the way, how can people find out about you and what you're doing and where you're performing?
I have a website at www.steveturay.com.
Love it. And by the way, where are you going to be performing right here?
In New Jersey Pass?
No, right here, in just in a few moments. What are you going to be doing?
I'd like to play a composition I wrote called Brother Ray.
Brother Ray, about?
I wrote it for Mr. Charles, for Mr. Ray Charles.
And you're going to be performing with whom on the piano?
My pianist is the wonderful Mr. Sharp Radway.
Sharp Radway.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that it's funny that I've heard about you for a while, and the reason we got together here at with our partners at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center is we said, hey, listen, let's bring on talented people who can not just talk about it, but do it. And so, Steve, I want to thank you for being with us, and we look forward to hearing you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
You got it.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJPAC has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence, and by the New Jersey Performing Arts Center, in cooperation with NJTV and 134 WNET. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJPAC has been provided by Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, PSE&G, the New Jersey Education Association, TD Bank, Josh S. Weston, Cone Resnick, and by the Fidelco Group. Promotional support provided by the Star Ledger and NJ.com. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
First steps, first day of school, first game. When their first day of college arrives, will you be able to pay for it? NJ Best can help. It is the 529 college savings plan for New Jersey families, and you can start saving today with as little as $25. To learn about NJ Best 529 college savings plan, its investment objectives, risks, and costs, read the Investor Handbook available at 877-755-GRAD or njbest.com.